Army, match week 19/20. Last one of the year. It's been a good year. It's been an interesting year. But we'll get into that shortly. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to hit Premier League first. Liverpool, they're good. Maresca, as he found out, and United relegation battle, ? Halftime, we got Gio Reyna and Josh Zirkzee. Related topics. Round the world, Netflix and NISA. And then stoppage time with Ivan Toney's best bets and everybody's favorite segment, GOAWs. Now, quickly, we're going to do a group intro question here. So the same question for everybody. Start with you, Mr. Mitchell Goulet, a.k.a. Overtime Mitch. What was the favorite Christmas gift that you got this year?
This year, I got a nice vacuum. I know it's boring, but tell me you don't want a nice. When I say nice vacuum, I mean like top of the line shark shit.
I feel that
dust that has been there for 3 years.
I feel that. Listen, I am a huge believer and appreciator of utilitarian gifts, and that is right at the top of the list right there. Yep. So I appreciate that answer. Tyler Terrence, favorite Christmas gift?
Considering my partner and I have not exchanged gifts yet, it was supposed to be today, but my gift has not arrived. So we pushed it back for this very reason because I knew it was going to be late. It's going to have to be something that her parents got me. And I'm going to go with my Chipotle gift card because I get it once a week. It's a staple in my week, and I'm just super pumped to be able to roll in there and just put down the plastic and not have to worry about anything. So,
listen, that's 2 for 2 on utilitarianism right here. Yeah. I'm loving this. Yeah. Mikey, I know you're going to absolutely blow this out of the water with something completely useless. What do you got?
No. I got a barber jacket, BARBOUR, one I've always wanted. I don't buy myself clothing. I tend to thrift a little too often for everyone around me. I bring a sort of thrift to the party that people don't seem to like. So somebody bought me a barber jacket that I will covet and not lose tonight.
For a while. All right.
I air tagged it, by the way. I hit the tag it.
Did you really? Okay.
Yeah, I care about it.
Fair enough. All right. We'll move on, but quickly, this episode is sponsored by Kick It, the one-stop shop for soccer tennis. Tyler, do you want to? What's I'm forgetting here about Kick It.
Yep. No, so awesome little gift that if you didn't get it for Christmas, either for yourself or for a loved one, or maybe you got like a Visa gift card or you got a little bit of extra cash, a little bit of Hanukkah gelt, if you will, from a parent, and you're looking for something to spend on that you wouldn't normally buy yourself, something that's a little outside of the box, Kick It is the perfect gift for you. You're going to want to have this in your arsenal when it starts to get warmer out. If you're living in a warm climate, then go fuck yourself because, right now that is not the case in Cincinnati. But Sam25 is the code to get a significant discount. I believe it brings it down to around $59.99, and there's a limited time offer. We're only going to be partnering with Kick It for select episodes, so get this on discount while you can. It brings down the cost significantly. Shipping free, I believe, and now that the holiday rush is over, you can order it. It'll be there, and you can play with your friends. It's a great drinking game to play. Got a little beer in your hand, play a little Kick It. You lose a point, you take a swig, you lose a game, you finish the whole thing. I've had some great afternoons on the beaches of Chicago on Lake Michigan with some Kick It. So highly advise you head over there, and thank you to Kick It for being our sponsor for the past several episodes.
There you go. Premier League time. Whew. All right. So coming off of a post-Boxing Day weekend, we had a full slate again on Sunday and Monday. Some of the sort of highlights and lowlights, we had City getting started early. They're so back. 2-0 win against newly promoted Leicester. Well done to Man City. Liverpool 5-0 away, no less, at West Ham, just doing the business. Spurs managing a point against Wolves. Well done to Tottenham. United lose to Newcastle 2-0. They're at home. Ipswich at home beat Chelsea 2-0. So, Tyler, most interesting, most notable result from the weekend of those or the others, what stands out?
I was initially going to lean towards Newcastle and Man United, but I think that I'm going to switch to Ipswich and Chelsea because It's more so the result and what it says or what it doesn't say about Chelsea with regard to the title race. I wanted to do Newcastle and Manchester United just because of how poor United were, but that's nothing new. I think that, their moments of struggle are like significant right now. But this Chelsea thing, when everybody was deeming, I mean, they were 2 games ago, they were 4 points off of first place. Sure, Liverpool have that game in hand, but you never know what can happen with that later on down the line whenever they decide to play that game. So for me, it's got to be Chelsea. I mean, against an Ipswich team that, yes, is, starting to find a little bit of semblance of, I don't want to say rhythm, but at least, a competitive nature in the Premier League. But I mean, my goodness, like it's clearly become a one-horse race, and I'm not just saying that as a Liverpool fan, but because Chelsea are dropping all points on the road against Ipswich. You cannot be doing that, and while you're trying to catch a team like Liverpool, who I don't want to go ahead and say it, but I'm going to. It doesn't even look like we've hit our best form just yet this season, and that's how I feel about that.
I agree with you. That was the most notable result for me, especially because it was a week or two ago where I was the one that was suggesting, listen, Chelsea has they look like the team. If there's going to be somebody to give Liverpool a run this season, it looks like Chelsea at least has all the pieces. And then they go and lose to Fulham, which, I mean, that's not a bad loss, let's be honest. But they lose at Fulham at home and then away to Ipswich.
And that was coming off of the Everton draw, which
right.
set this whole thing in motion, right? I mean, defensively, we were looking at a team that was really difficult to break down, and even Arne Slot came out and said that the most difficult game that Liverpool have played so far this year was that Chelsea draw, and now defensively they're giving up 2 goals to Ipswich, which is not ideal, and obviously the goals have dried up a little bit on their end, so a lot of issues to sort out right now.
Agreed. I still think that Chelsea might be the toughest team. The team that might give Liverpool the toughest run this season. I still think the Liverpool or Chelsea. Now, I guess I could ask one of the Arsenal fans here. Mitch, what did you think about that Chelsea result?
I actually will co-sign what you've just said. I think Chelsea have the best chance at giving Liverpool a run for their money, even after these past 2 results. That game was 86% controlled by Chelsea.
Yeah.
It was played in Ipswich's half for almost the entire game, and the 2 goals ended up on counters, which is how Ipswich has scored the majority of their goals this season. But Delap looks crazy. I love watching Omari Hutchinson play, and they know what they're going to do once they get the ball is run straight forward. They're not going to slow up play and wait for like a good build up. They're going to go run at you, and that's how Ipswich scored their 2 goals. Chelsea had one that was called back for offside, and it was correctly called. It was a good ball, but run was a little early. And I think that shifted the momentum from Chelsea looking like they wanted to score goals the right way to Chelsea playing a little bit more desperate with each passing minute, and Ipswich sensing that, packing in a little bit more, and then quickly realizing that, oh shit, we can't just take points from this game. We can go and win this game. So I think it's a bit of a dip in form from Chelsea, but I don't think it's going to be significant of Maresca. I don't think it's significant of their season. I think it is a really bad loss and a really good win for Ipswich.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. The first goal on that penalty really felt soft, to put it mildly. And then, the goal, Felix could have been, he was offsides, but it very easily could have been a goal. Like that game could have turned out a lot differently if you look at the chances that Chelsea had. I don't think that I think that a lot of people are jumping off the Chelsea bandwagon suddenly because of the 3 results in a row. I'm still on I think Chelsea is the second best team. Mikey?
A lot of things had to break Ipswich's way. It's their first home win of the season. Chelsea are going to be a little bit less polished, than they will be this time next year, et cetera. And a couple mistakes, some poor chancing, some poor finishing, that'll happen to you. And that's going to happen to a team that's just finding its footing. Delap was the story. If you didn't watch it live, he was the word terrorizing gets thrown around in the sport a little bit too much, but he was a terror to the Chelsea backline. They looked like children compared to him. Physicality, speed, decision-making, everything was really crisp. Watch him on the second goal for Hutchinson. How many guys either whip a shot off the side netting or can't, get their footing on that cutback. Just an unbelievable performance by him. But yeah, that's going to happen sometimes to a team that doesn't quite have it all figured out yet, like Chelsea, which to Liverpool's benefit is going to be them for the rest of this campaign.
Tyler, you have something to add there?
I mean, I was just going to say that, like, it felt a little reminiscent of Chelsea last year under Poch, where it just felt a little bit like they're in control of the game, but that final moment just continues to escape them. And that's like a helpless feeling as a footballer when you know that you should be scoring and you know that you are the better team, but like, you know, deep down in your heart of hearts that you're not going to score on the day. No matter if you played 180 minutes or if you played, 270 minutes, you're just not going to score on that day. And that's a really, really bad feeling. And I think that I think that there were a few too many of those games last year, and that's sort of why Poch ended up getting fired in the end. I mean, obviously they wanted their guy, but it just felt a little bit like that. I'm not jumping off the Chelsea bandwagon per se. I was watching that game, and I was like, this is going to be a team that is going to properly, from week one, challenge for the title next year. But in this year's title race, you can't drop 3 results like that and expect Liverpool to then have a run of form like that when Arne Slot's lost 3 games this calendar year between Liverpool and Feyenoord. It's just like it's just not going to happen this year.
So, I mean, we can sort of just loop that West Ham game in here. You guys looked incredible. I mean, that was the game where it's like, listen, Mitch, I don't like cupping his balls any more than you do.
West Ham absolute shit, though.
Because Tyler is absolutely insufferable when Liverpool are good. But, man, they're just – that was the result. It was like, okay, wow, this team looks – they look good.
That Mo Salah touch is otherworldly.
Was it on purpose?
Yes.
He said in the post-game interview that the 2 nutmegs in a row, he said the first one was not on purpose, but the second one was. That's what he said. But man,
well,
I mean, listen.
But just the audacity to take that kind of touch and expect to get around the defender, whether the meg was intentional or not, that just happened to be a byproduct of the whole thing. But
I mean, he's fun to watch. He is funny. There's only so many people or so many guys that, like, you would say, I'll tune in to watch this guy. Like Eden Hazard back in the day, what was that guy? Mo Salah right now in the form he's in. He is worse.
I'm considering re-upping my Paramount Plus subscription for next season when he's in Saudi. I'm going to follow him just as close as I am right now.
There it is. It was going to be you or me.
Can we get that poll up in the Discord, by the way? And if you have not subscribed to Sam's Army yet on Patreon, please do so. The Discord, honestly, is the best part about the $3.99 that you have to pay per month. You have this little community that is now like close to 70 people on the Discord that you just get to banter with back and forth, memes, Mikey reverse jinxing his own team, furious about his bets, elated about Matías Cunha anytime assist hitting in the 98th minute. And you just get this awesome group of people who listen to the pod and who love football, and you can watch every single game with them basically and go back and forth. Mitch, can we get that up in the polls? Daily poll, which is one of the sections of the Discord. Where is Mo Salah going to end? Where is Mo Salah going to end up next year?
Gotcha. Yep.
Like next calendar year? Because
next season
could be January.
I'm
just throwing this out there.
Oh man, I love it. We got to get something to get under Tyler's skin because right now he's just he's living footloose and fancy free over there.
Even Real Madrid can't get me down right now. Come for our boy Trent. Wait until the summer. We're doubling up on Premier League and Champions League.
Most Real Madrid player that's ever been is that guy.
He's gonna be a nobody when he goes over there.
That's not true.
A nobody.
No.
You're calling your own player a nobody right now.
No, what I'm saying is you just get lost in the shuffle over there. It takes a while. He's never left Liverpool. He's just gonna all of a sudden go to a new country and a new team and a team that at large majority of the time is dysfunctional, that already has a bunch of ego problems, and he's just all of us, and he's gonna continue to be the same player and get the same amount of love and same amount of respect. What are we talking about? Come on, Coutinho went to go do that, and he kind of speaks the language. I'm sure there's some lost in translation with Brazilian and Spanish, and he got lost in the shuffle going over to Barcelona. So
something lost in translation between these two completely different languages.
No, stop. It's a thing. I did it again. Damn it! That's my New Year's resolution. I need to stop saying stop. God damn it. My stepmother is Portuguese. She can understand Spanish, and but she doesn't know Spanish, but she understands it because there's similarities between the two. I'm the political correspondent here, not you. All right, I get to decide what's what international waters.
Fair enough. Shout out Mikey for getting under his skin. That was well done. All right, so moving on. We've touched on. We've definitely discussed Chelsea, the Ipswich. We've
Can I
oh,
give
sure,
my most
okay,
interesting game? My most interesting game.
yeah, go for it.
It's on the back of Liverpool. So Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Wolves. 4 teams that recently have not picked up 3 points against Everton's back four. Forrest, go in there, make it look easy. I don't know. I mean, listen, we're going to talk about Forest here for a second, so I'm not going to say we don't talk about them enough, but it's incredible. It really is incredible. They seem to have this perfectly balanced 11 that is very fragile. Don't get me wrong, but like Leicester went 38 match weeks with it. You can balance things and you can hit a good run here. And there's something about the way they're playing that's at least mature enough to attack an Everton defense that's been very, very sturdy for the past month and a half. I came away hugely impressed, almost by how unimpressive it was. It felt very natural of a result, and that's a sign of a really good team.
Every single one of those guys has something to prove. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them. Every single one of them has been turned down by a big club, has come up through a big club, and then got loaned out. Or is a 32-year-old who's just trying to, capture one little bit more Premier League magic. And Chris Wood, like every single one of those players is hungry every single time they step out on the field, and they just happen to be good, and they're very, very well coached. I cannot imagine a club that would let that coach go.
It's unbelievable.
God damn it! All right, fair jab back
is due to playing in one competition. You have FA Cup as well, but they were eliminated from EFL Cup very, very early. They're not in Champions League. They're not in Europa. They're not in Conference League. They play Premier League games week in and week out. How much of that consistency is translating to 3 points every weekend?
I mean, for a club like that, I mean, it's almost it's everything.
It's huge.
It's everything.
It's so big.
Now, in this Everton game specifically, they got that early goal, which was huge. When you're going against an Everton team who doesn't score a lot, and they also don't give up a lot of goals, but you get that early goal that sort of changes things. Everton had chances in this game. I think Everton is actually a pretty decent team. They're not gonna wow anybody, but they're just tough to break down. I don't know, Forrest.
Who's scooping up in Jai? Who's scooping up that kid?
I don't know.
I like him a lot.
He's gonna stink.
I like him a lot.
Anything else on Forest? I mean, I'm impressed by them. Somebody asked me, I think it was on Instagram. I don't know if it was Instagram or Discord. They're like, okay, they're a good team, but like, where are their stars from? And they pointed to, because I was comparing them with Leicester in 2015 and 16. And they're like, if you look at the Leicester team, you had these guys like, the Vardys and the Conte, obviously, Mahrez. And he's like, does Forest have that? And my answer to that is, number one, I don't think that they do, but they do have guys. They got the Elangas, the Chos, they have talent, but they're a team, and they're sort of based. It's just a different approach. They need the same look. Like if we're talking about like title race, even Champions League this season, they're going to need some luck. You need to stay healthy, but if they can do that, which I don't think they can, I think the injuries will inevitably and eventually be the problem that brings this team back to, mid-table. But if they don't,
but the lack of star power, I don't really know if I jive with that, because those guys didn't become stars until after they had won the Premier League that season. You know what I mean? Like nobody really knew who a lot of these guys were. I mean, everybody had heard of Jamie Vardy just because he had been around for forever, but like Conte, Mahrez, even Danny Drinkwater, who ends up going to Chelsea and stinking, like those guys weren't names until they made a name for themselves. Like Morgan Gibbs-White could get poached next year going to a big club, and he can get lost in the shuffle just as easily as Elanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi got lost in the shuffle in their big clubs. So it just kind of, I agree, it's definitely a different vibe, but at the same time, like these guys are going to make a name for themselves on the back end, as opposed to like saying that they are lacking star power right now. The stars are currently being cooked as we speak.
True. I do think the Wood versus Vardy thing is different and is in favor of Leicester, where Vardy could just make a goal out of absolutely nothing. Chris Wood is never going to do that. No. He needs a little bit of service. Yeah. So I think that is something in Leicester's corner. Okay. Any other games, Mitch?
I'm getting my goa ready.
Oh, jeez.
I have a rant about it. It is going to be way more than 1 week's worth of goa. Let's talk about United. Let's start in on it. Because Zirkzee getting pulled at the 30-minute mark was
and getting clapped off, cheered off by the Old Trafford faithful.
We've known for
that's
quite
tough.
some time that he's just not United level, but I'm starting to question if he's like Premier League level. He's shown flashes at Bologna and at Bayern years ago, but man, he's just he requires parking lots full of space to do anything he wants to do. And as a tall player, I get that. But man, the dude just is not up to standard.
And he's not an aerial threat, and he's 6'4".
No, he's not. No, he wants to play this silky game. He wants to like farm clips, basically. He's just not.
I'd love Tommy to dive into this. The thing everybody knew about when he was at Bologna was like his heat map was everywhere. They gave him a free role. They had players that played 9 to cover that duty for him. And he kind of took a lot of that space in the underneath 10s. And United are just like, yeah, we don't have any wingers. We have a bunch of 10s. And you're going to be a 9 now. And he's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And if you've ever played the game, you know, like going from, first of all, switching from living in Italy to living in Manchester and then having no idea how to play in the system, have your manager yoinked from you already. You tried to learn one guy. Everyone was like, don't listen to this guy. He's not going to be here. And now you're trying again. Like, this is a nightmare. I think he moves in January and we're going to see him come back to, he's going to go to like a mid-table other 5-league team and he'll be good. He'll score 10 goals. I swear to you.
Now, outside of Zirkzee, there's still a whole lot going on here with this United team.
That back line was just dreadful. Dreadful.
Lee Dixon.
Oh
Lee
my
Dixon
God.
was just, I have not heard a commentator go in on a team just openly and like live on the broadcast. He was just throwing haymakers at Manchester United and just sparing absolutely nobody. It felt like it was like Gary Neville, like a guy that had like, he loved Manchester United and these players are like dragging his beloved club through the mud. Lee Dixon's an Arsenal guy and he was out there just absolutely dragging these guys. And deservedly so. They were so bad. Like, it's just schoolboy defending it, you know, to use the cliche. It was just like, it was terrible. It was gross.
The one where Isak didn't even score, where it was just Isak inside of midfield. They have 3 defenders, all with their back to him, where no idea where he is. And then he had that lame little chip that fell into Onana's hands. But that one, I'm just like, what the fuck is that? And then I'm just like, that's bad coaching. Your guys are not switched on. You can't blame that entire back line because collectively they cost about $300 million. You cannot blame that on like the quality of player. They're not locked in. They're not switched on. I don't think they're buying whatever Amorim is selling at this point in time. And I think he's going to get fired before the end of the season. I do.
Was it this game that sort of turned that for you?
I said this last episode. Everybody's been saying like, oh, he's pushing the right buttons. This is going to come good. This is going to come good. In what fucking universe? What has he done outside of beat Manchester City, which everybody has done? This was just one more like inevitable chip in a stack of truth and evidence where I'm just he is a bad fucking coach for this team right now.
He stopped winning. That's the key. He needs to bottom out. He knows this. He can't be getting results and keeping everybody content with Rashford's. He's like, we're going to stink. We're going to really, really stink. I said
that in our group chat. I was just
that's the right string.
It's just like you can't continue to build up trust with the fan base and with the players and try to fix these culture problems and lose 17 games in a row. That's not how this fucking works. You have to win something. You cannot keep losing games at this rate when you're Manchester United. They're closer to relegation than they are to Champions League. That's a fact.
This sounds exactly like first-year Arteta. We were talking relegation at Christmas and the bottom-out results.
But
the same thing.
But you knew that there was at least something going on with Arsenal in the way that they were starting to play, and you knew that like there was some semblance of a culture starting to be formed. And maybe you can compare Rashford and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, not for like what they did to get sort of ousted by anything, but like similar thing. What style of play is United conjuring up right now that's leading you to believe that this is going to come good next year?
Well, there's a lot of talk about, Amorim's philosophy and all that, and the fact that he doesn't have players to play that style. And maybe that's true.
What
but
style? What
Yeah,
style?
but
What style are we talking about?
Yeah, you don't have that as an excuse. Your job is to get results, and I think you are asked to implement a style when you come into a club like United, but you're not asked to do that at the expense of points. When you start two of the most stagnant midfielders in the Premier League in Casemiro and Christian Eriksen against a terrorizing midfield three of Guimaraes, Joelinton, and Toney, that's expected, this result. I'm surprised it wasn't more than 2-0. So do you get points? Do you get brownie points for implementing a style? Which, again, Tyler, what style? What is the theme that this United team wants to play with?
Everybody was like, every pundit and their mother was like, oh, I can see what he's trying to do. I can see what he's trying to do. What the fuck is he trying to do? I don't know. And everybody was like, oh, well, at least it looks like they have a game plan comparatively to Ten Hag where they didn't. I'm still looking for it. What is it? What is it? Just that he has a Christmas tree formation and he's got 2 number 10s under a number 9 and that they're playing with 3 in the back? I can muster that up and just say, go play. I can do that.
Yeah, well. First of all, if people are saying I understand what they're trying to do, Lee Dixon was like, I don't know what they're trying to do out there today. I see no, I see nothing, no philosophy, no concepts. It's just
I was starting to
themselves.
feel insecure that I wasn't seeing what everybody else was saying that they were seeing when they were talking about how good that this Manchester United project is going to come good at some point. I was like, what am I missing? Why is everybody so much tactically inclined than I am? And I was like, oh, I wasn't missing anything. I was fucking right all along. Same with Nottingham Forest. My New Year's resolution is to stop being right so much. That's my New Year's resolution.
That's careful. They care that everything in your New Year's resolution, they revolve around the word stop, which is, you might.
I need to cut it from my vocabulary.
Careful,
I need to say it in Brazilian now or Spanish because they're basically the
same thing. Right, same thing.
By the way, Mitch used the word terrorize in his explanation of Newcastle as well. So.
Just because like you said it earlier, it was in my head.
Was it? Okay. It's overused.
Now, going from one team with a dreadful, according to JP, a dreadful squad, to a team that has an even worse squad, according to Tyler Terrence, Tottenham Hotspur. The 2-2 draw at home against Wolves. I mean, I've been saying the same thing over and over again for, weeks at this point, and there's a reason for that. Our team is not healthy, and we stink right now. So until we get healthy, we're going to continue to stink. Wolves, on the other hand, seem like ever since they got rid of Gary O'Neill, they have gotten it together a little bit. Cunha's a beast, although now he's suspended, and we'll get into that in the FPL part. So, this is a bad draw on paper. It's not that bad. It's just basically Spurs fans, we just need to go into hibernation specifically until Van de Ven is back. That guy will revolutionize our defense. I'm convinced. So we just get cut up on counterattacks. We just look like, we're terrible. We're just absolutely terrible when we get run at with a counterattack. Van de Ven is the one guy that can help sort that out in kind of like a Virgil van Dijk type of way, where he was incredible. He still is at just being like, okay, I got one guy running at me, or maybe 2-on-2. Virgil van Dijk could just sniff it out and put out the fire. Van de Ven can do the same thing. And I swear to God, as soon as we get him back, this defense is going to be miles better than what it is right now, which is terrible. We are absolutely joke level terrible. Okay, Tyler, your turn.
I'm not going to go on my rant that I went on before about Ange, but I just want to ask you a question. Do you feel like there's a necessity to just simply win games regardless of style and regardless of, how big Ange's ego is?
Right. And this is
same thing with Ruben Amorim.
Right. You've asked this question millions of times, and I've always given you the same answer, and I'm actually going to change my answer just a little bit because it's gotten old. I thought that if he stuck with his philosophy, no matter who went out there, if you give them like a few weeks, a few games, they'd sort of get it and all that. I don't know if it's Foster. I don't know if it's the guys in front of him. Dragusin is a dragon ass.
He's really bad on the ball.
He's just what is he good at? What is he good at? I don't know. He's got a great he's got a badass name. Dragusin is pretty badass.
He looks like a proper central defender.
Yes, he's got the looks. He's got the vibe. He's from Eastern Europe. Like it's just like, okay, this guy's gonna be a badass, and then you get out there and like this freaking guy. Yeah, this is what we got. So yeah, Anjin Anonymous. Okay, Mikey.
By the way, 13 points off of Forrest for your TikTok dance. You standing by whatever you said that you're gonna?
I mean, I was a little touched up by the old alcohol on the last one, but I guess I gotta stand by it at this point.
Yeah, do the same thing your coach is doing. Just don't change.
Yeah, just I'm just gonna stand by it.
Everyone wants you to.
Unfortunately, his golden parachute is it's got a few extra zeros versus my TikTok dance golden parachute. But yeah, I'll stick with it. I don't know how I got backed into the corner on that one, by the way. Like there was zero upside.
Nobody backed you into that corner. You voluntarily said that Spurs are going to finish ahead of Forest.
Well, shout out Pacifico's on that one.
Not an official sponsor.
We need to get Pacifico back on, or not back on the train here. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. We just need to get healthy. Just plain and simple. It's very simple. People are asking me on Instagram, like, who should we get? Like in January, we just got to get healthy. If we get this team healthy, we'll be back. We'll be so back.
By the way, shout out to our boy Adam F, who I have to imagine he said on the Discord that he is in construction sales and he has to wait for his boss to leave, or he has to go hide somewhere in order to listen to the pod right now live. And the number of people who are watching keeps fluctuating between like 7 and 6 and 7 and 8. And I have a feeling he just keeps logging off and logging back in every time his boss leaves. So Adam F, you a real one.
Shout out. Yeah. So anything else on Tottenham game or any of the other games?
Nice result for Southampton. 0-0 against Fulham.
Was that at the midweek?
Yeah.
What was it at the midweek?
Yeah, that was Boxing Day, I think, right? But yeah, I mean that is a good result. Because Southampton lost to Palace.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, I was thinking of the same performance but different result. I also thought that Southampton looked good. I mean, I think that they looked decent.
Is there any chance that one of these newly promoted teams gets out of the relegation zone at this point, or are we like resigned to the fact that the three that bounced up are bouncing straight back down?
I think.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to leapfrog United.
I said at the beginning of the season, Ipswich stays up. I think they do.
Think so? At the expense of who at this point?
Say it.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. Although it is more likely, the poll, which I'll give Sam credit for, what is more likely, Forest winning the title or United going down? That's a thinker. It sounds absurd, both of them, but to think which one is more likely, I voted Forest winning the title. I don't think United go down. I think that's...
How long does it take for Everton to leapfrog United in the table?
3 weeks.
That's what I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not 2. It's not 2.
No, but it's less than a month.
Now, to the Forest, to the title question, the Forest winning the title question. Listen, obviously it's a long shot, but like if Liverpool gets a couple key injuries,
we can't speculate.
I'm not speculating. I'm not rooting for that. I'm just suggesting.
Sam just wants another team to experience injuries.
Yeah,
that's all he wants.
Don't project your injuries onto the rest of the league.
Oh man! All right. Quickly, we didn't actually talk about the fact that Newcastle, we gave United shit for being an absolute clown show mess, which is fair, I think. But Newcastle now they've won 5 in a row.
Back last week. We said they played real well.
Yep.
They're seriously back. They're in 5th place right now. They're healthy. I mean, this is a team that we haven't talked about at all for being, in like say the title race. I mean, they're right there. If we're going to talk about teams like Chelsea, you're going to talk about Forest, and we haven't really talked about Arsenal, but we just sort of assume that they're in that same mix.
Do you say title race or Champions League?
They're flirting with Europe for
Well,
sure.
they're definitely. First of all, they're 100% in the Champions League.
Agreed.
Mix.
They're not in a title race. They're
not
13
in a
points
title race.
off with Liverpool having a game in hand. They're not in the title race.
So are we all saying there is no title race? It's over.
There's
Liverpool's winning.
No.
Well, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm curious as to what your math and logic is behind a 13-point gap, because you still think that Spurs can catch Nottingham Forest in a 13-point gap, and you think that Newcastle can catch Liverpool with a 13-point gap.
Well, I mean, like if one of those is going to happen, it's going to be Spurs catching Forest.
Yes, because the gap between Spurs and Forest is this. The gap between Liverpool and the rest of the league, Tyler, avert your eyes, is this. That was proven with Chelsea this weekend, that 13 points are not all created equal, and Liverpool are up here. The rest of the league is not. Very simple.
I know. So we are saying that the title race is over without actually saying it.
I am.
Mm-mm.
I am.
Mikey's not.
I'm not.
Who's the most realistic contender right now?
It's still a first-year manager at Liverpool. I don't trust anybody till the end of the year. Like I need to see some results. I need to see some results.
He's got one more day. One more day to fuck this up.
I mean to say that I'm not going to trust it on just the first half of the season.
I don't trust anybody till early January.
Let me ask you this question: do you think Liverpool are playing their best football of the season right now?
Yeah. By a lot.
And do you think that you have like you're still in like third gear and you have like second gear and first gear?
Not third gear. I still think we're in second gear because I still think that, like, from a number 9 standpoint, if Diogo Jota plays 6 or 7 games in a row for Liverpool, that will be our best football. Now, that's a huge if, but that is Liverpool's best football when he's totally healthy.
I mean, you're missing Konate, right? That's pretty much your only injury. I think this was
Connor Bradley.
Okay. I still think that this is peak Liverpool. I think this is the best form you will be in all season,
all year.
Yeah,
it's possible.
And that's not like to besmirch Liverpool. You guys just absolutely took West Ham out behind Woodshed at their own place of business. But
that's not that difficult to do. Number one. Number two, but
their defense is terrible.
To flip it on the other side for Mikey's comment, he's still a first-year manager. You can't tell me that they've maxed out under a first-year manager already 4 months into the season. I don't trust anybody in the first year. I don't trust anybody up until New Year's Eve.
I mean, honestly, that's usually when it does take a team a year to get an identity from a manager. So it's pretty interesting that they're pulling this off in the space that they are. It's incredible, honestly. I just don't think 2 guys over 30 are as durable as they seem to be right now.
That was injuries.
comment. Mo never gets injured. And honestly, I've been banging on the Andy Robertson drum for weeks now. So give me Jedi tomorrow.
We'll have to have like some sort of transfer special bonus episode on the Patreon. So might as well sign up now. But we'll skip the Anthony Robinson, where is he going discussion, because it does seem like everybody thinks he's headed somewhere. Unless anybody else has any other games they want to touch on. No, we will head to FPL quickly. So for the week, Sam's Army Council of Elders. Sam's Army. I won. Oh, I won the week. Yay. I'm an Almiron man. That's still the name I'm seeing here, by the way.
The week's not over, by the way.
Oh, that's true. Okay, fair point. There's still Brentford and Arsenal, which I don't think I have any players in that, so I could get jumped on that one. FCTT bringing up the rear. At 5th, Isak at FPL in 4th, McGunners 3rd, and as I said, I'm in 2nd, followed by Mikey. Now, as for the table itself of the big league, Cold Palmer FC, Adatias. I think Tommy actually reminded me told me how to pronounce that, and I already forgot. Adatias TVs is in 1st, Magnets, Patrick Kelly in 2nd, the real Major League Saka, Fraser Connor in 3rd, YNWA, Joshua Fish in 4th, followed by Neon Hat Tequila. A new name, Neon Hat Tequila, Greg Bassier. Well done. You guys are really good at this game of FPL. Quick question on Cunha, because I do think that probably everybody has him on their team at this point, just given his form and his price. Mikey, is that true? Do you have Cunha?
I've had Cunha for a long time.
Okay, so do I. What's your plan here for the?
Why would I tell you?
Fair point.
I've wanted to upgrade into Ollie Watkins for a while. Once Duran got hurt, there's a little fire. This guy had double-digit both columns last year. Return man extraordinaire. That team kind of stinks outside of him creatively. He's going to get a goal or an assist for the next few weeks here. I'm going to move off of Cunha. I'm going to move off of Odegaard, who I watched play last week. I thought, Saka's absence, he's got to return.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like what I saw out of him. I do not think he's healthy at all. His touch looked sloppy. The rain was affecting him. He does not look like the same player right now. I'm going to move off of him, free up some capital, go cheap midfielder, and upgrade Cunha to Watkins. That's the move.
All right. That's a good shout. Let's move ahead to the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, full slate. Actually, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I should say. Wolves and Nottingham Forest play on Monday, which is an interesting one. Some of the other games I had just sort of call out. Well, first of all, if anybody wants to talk about Brentford and Arsenal on Wednesday, welcome to do so. Spurs, Newcastle, bright and early on Saturday. Brighton, Arsenal on Sunday. Liverpool, United. Northwest Derby on Sunday. And then, of course, Wolves and Forest on Monday. Tyler, what game stands out to you as most interesting?
I think Spurs, Newcastle. Yeah, I think Spurs, Newcastle. I think that from a Newcastle standpoint, can you keep this form going? Can you do it on the road against a Spurs team who's desperate? And you guys very much are that. And sort of take your show on the road and see if you can get this done against a group that is going to give you chances, and you just sort of need to be ruthless. And, to the point of Newcastle and where they stand as far as Champions League and everything like that. I mean, they're 3 points off of Chelsea, and you gotta start to rattle off big stretches if you want to be a Champions League side, and maybe even start to catch Arsenal. And then for Spurs, I don't really think we need to go any further into what they need. But
we just got to get help. But also, Bentancur is now suspended. This is not a good time to be a Spurs
I wanted
fan.
to go with United Liverpool, but it's just such it's a bad game, and this could get really, really embarrassing for United.
Does Almiron, does he make it through? Is this the game that the team turns on him? Could he break Bob Bradley's record in terms of the?
Well, if we know anything about Sir Jim Ratcliffe, per the Athletic article that came out as to why Dan Ashworth, the former sporting director, was fired, who they paid $10 million from Newcastle, is that he is, he's a bit erratic and he's rash and he's got a little Daniel Levy in him. And if they get their doors blown off at Anfield, there is a strong there's a possibility that he could be gone. Given how back and forth and flaky he's been in press conferences, and we didn't even get to talk about that because I think that his excuses and sort of his language and his verbiage after games is really fascinating, saying they're trying. That's not something to say. What are they trying to do? That's like talking about somebody in your class who's kind of slower than everybody else and being like, oh, he's trying. No, this is your team. You need to figure out a way to win games, which you certainly cannot do right now.
I was trying, by the way.
for the record, I think that the chatter and the pressure and whatever on Amorim it's crazy. He's been stuck. When he's saying they're trying, he probably means it, because he probably thinks that he's basically putting out this team, a squad full of championship level players. Is this is what you stuck me with. I can't.
Worst job in the world.
I asked that question a few months ago.
Chicago Fire?
No, because our expectations are so different than Manchester United, who, for better or worse, they expect a level of excellence that, say, a Tottenham Hotspur, we don't. We don't have that same level of expectations, even though our results are kind of on par, if not ours are better. But yeah, Manchester United, it's got to be the most toxic job in the world of soccer. It has to be. Absolutely has to be. But I also think it's ridiculous. If there's really chatter about Amorim getting sent out or sacked, I cannot believe it.
This is same level of Pep stuff, right? It's what is rock bottom? At what point do you point to the guy who you thought was the guy and you just say, we made a mistake? Sticking with him the same way that you stuck with Ten Hag, just to say that you're not wrong a year earlier than you're going to say it, is not worth it, in my opinion. Rip off the Band-Aid and start over. I'm not saying that that's the case right now, but are you going to wait until you're actually in a relegation battle and until like you're truly battling with Ipswich and Southampton to stay up? Like, is that what you want to wait to do?
I mean, he has to get one transfer window at a minimum, right? I mean, you have to give him one window.
How much capability, how much wiggle room from FFP does United actually have? It's not like they
I
haven't
don't know.
spent money
Yeah.
recently.
No, that's fair. I mean, they would have to offload to bring guys on, and obviously,
good luck offloading some of those contracts. Good luck.
Yeah, right. That's obviously they're stuck with Rashford. And is Garnacho on the way out? I don't know. He was like the chosen one maybe 12 months ago, and now he's not even in the squad and whatever. Is he gone?
Maybe United needs to be a selling. Maybe United needs to be a selling club. Get rid of Amad Diallo for $100 million and just start over.
Ooh. United fans are going to be like, okay, you guys can stop talking about us now.
Yeah, don't say we don't talk about United.
All right, Mitch, or no, Mikey. I haven't called on you, Mikey. Which of the games you find most interesting?
Arsenal Brighton. This could be the one where I finally have to shut up about this thing not being over yet. Brighton have some players that would make the 11, and I haven't said that about a matchup of these two teams in a while. I think Baleba's special. I think João Pedro's finally a little bit healthy. Mitsima rests on the weekend, so I'm very scared, and I think this is going to be the one that people start to pay attention to. It's there. Yeah, this could be a problem.
You guys could use a guy like Danny Welbeck.
First of all, you are the king of that. Your former manager's in third, so let's relax. We wouldn't use Danny Welbeck, second of all. And third, he won't score against us because he has too much respect.
My former manager is in second place, by the way, not third, second place.
I am hammering Danny Welbeck at his goal scorer.
No.
Yeah, I think he actually might be injured for this game.
Is he?
Unfortunately, yeah, I think he might be out. Okay, fair shout. Mitch, what do you got? What game this week or weekend?
Comment a little bit more on that. I do share Mikey's caution with going into this game. I think Brighton has the ability to be a mirror for whoever they play, but they play a fun brand, and we want to slow the game down, and I don't think we have the personnel to best them in our game versus theirs this upcoming weekend. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We do have Brentford tomorrow, but I am a little nervous going into this one. There's no one player in the squad that you can point to and say that they're particularly in form, and if you need a moment from them, we can rely on them right now. And like Mikey said, they have some players that would get into our 11. I'm nervous. I can foresee 1 point for everybody across the board for this one. But in terms of other games, Wolves Forest.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wolves Forest will be very fun. Wolves have found a little bit of form. No, 0-0. You're bugging.
I don't think the Mikey's all that far. I think it's going to be like a good game. I don't know about goals, though.
Goals in this one.
All right. I would love that.
Wow.
Goals in this one.
All right.
If you put a gun to my head, I'm betting the under on this game.
Me too. But now that Mike just said, I'm like, okay, maybe.
That's a big gun for you to be betting the under on any game.
No, listen, I would never. I would stay away. I would never bet the under. But listen, Mitch thinks there might be some goals here. That's all it takes. Just somebody, just little birdie chirps. I'm like, yep, okay, over.
Totally.
We'll bet that.
Totally.
So there were two games that I was going to shout. One was Forest Wolves, which I think is going to be a very good game and an interesting game to see. I mean, we've sort of had like, what is Forest? They've passed a lot of tests at this point. They're legit. Wolves, on the other hand, obviously they started off awful, but they're a legit team. So I'm very interested in that game. There's another game that I want to call out: Aston Villa hosting Leicester. Villa has been so all over the board. They've been just up and down. They're beating who are they beating? They're beating Champions League. They're beating Leipzig, losing to Forest, getting spanked by Newcastle, beating City. What does that mean? Nobody knows. They're drawing with Brighton. This game at home against Leicester, this is a game where Aston Villa has to win this game, and sort of in a decisive fashion, to say that, we are a team that is going to be in the Champions League mix. This is a game they have to win, and by multiple goals. And if they don't, I might be out. Might be out on Aston Villa this season, which I don't want to say because I actually think that they got a good squad, and I just don't quite understand what's going on. But I'm saying it because I got to say it. Anything else? Done with Premier League. All right, halftime. Let's keep this quick. We'll keep it moving here.
Just stop calling it halftime.
I know it's not halftime this week at all. We're at the third quarter break. Weekly what if. Gio Reyna. This has been a talk of a topic of conversation for probably years, but it does feel like this January is an important inflection point for him. If he's if he goes somewhere, number one, should he go somewhere? So weekly what if, essentially, if you were his agent, what would you recommend he do? Tyler.
Go to MLS for 6 months.
Oh, you
go to San Diego. Go to
is that rage bait? Are you rage baiting?
I'm not rage baiting. Go to San Diego. Go start. Go be a king. Stay healthy, and then figure it out for the start of next European season.
Wow,
I'm serious.
6 months?
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
Wow, that would be.
We talked about this in the group chat a couple of weeks ago. Why are we so excited when a young up and coming star from South America or Europe makes their first stop at MLS and then gets sold and goes back to Europe? Why are we so pumped about that? But if one of our guys does it, then it's blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just a sort of a feeling and narrative that when you go to Europe, if you come back, you're never leaving again. Has it ever happened? Has that ever happened?
I'm not a believer in just because it's never been done before, because that's not
fair.
Sort of like why, or it's not, societally accepted or whatever the fuck that means. Like that's why we don't do things. I've never subscribed to that. If the best thing for Gio right now is to know that he's going to start every single game and be the guy and stay healthy, and doing that in San Diego in warm weather is the best way to do that, and to get him to a point where he's going to fit back into a European club in the summer. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if he's having a good time, let him stay until next January.
Okay. You're going to piss some people off with that take. Mitchell?
My only pushback on that is just that it is more difficult to leave. If you come back to the States, you are looked at less. You're under less pairs of eyeballs, European eyeballs, than you are if you were to stay over in Europe. That if you were to move from Bundesliga to La Liga or even Ligue 1, I don't think you should move to France. But if you were to move within Europe, you are under more European eyeballs. You need to really, really prove yourself. And he has that capability. He is that level player where if you were to go to San Diego, start, bag 10 goals within 12 games, like he has that ability, no doubt. But I think the bar in MLS to go back to Europe is higher than if you were to start in a lower level league, move up to MLS, and then climb the next rung of the ladder. This is inarguably going down a rung for more recognition, more playing time, and more experience. He's not getting that over in Europe, but I think he can find it in Europe. I'd like to see him go to La Liga. Probably not within the same Bundesliga, but in an ideal world, he goes to a mid-table club in La Liga, starts every single game, is playing freely, and moves to a bigger club afterwards.
Adam F., his boss, must have had it out for the moment, but so he dropped in the Europe isn't the goal, top leagues is. I'd rather pop into the championship than come to MLS, or than MLS rather than and then Premier League, as opposed to playing in Serie B forever. I think the championship would be a terrible place for a guy like Reyna.
Yeah,
I think that somewhere like Italy, Spain, that would be.
But let me pose.
I have a team.
Go ahead, Mikey. Go ahead.
Team in a fan base that are very comfortable playing American players. It's big enough brand recognition for American market to care. I think it's a good financial decision for the club. They can't generate anything offensively, lack extreme playmakers everywhere, and currently sit second to last in La Liga. It's Valencia. I would love for him to go play the 10 at Valencia. Pressure's off. La Liga doesn't crunch in on tackles. He gets to play a bunch of minutes. He's going to have a big say in whether they stay up or not, which is huge for him. Style of play that fits an American style against big clubs. I think it's a great spot and fill the hole that Musa just left.
My only question on that, Mikey, is you're throwing him into like a similar situation with like a Josh Sargent, where you're asking an attacking player to just simply go chase for 70 minutes. And you're just basically to be defending the entire time and hoping that you're going to find yourself in a few attacking moments to be able to prove yourself and get on the ball and do what you do.
He's not good enough to play for teams that have the ball the whole time.
This is my point. This is why MLS, I think, is his best spot right now.
Fair enough.
Interessante. All right, we'll move on. It will be interesting to see where Gio ends up. And this is right now, I mean, this isn't quite as sort of key as next summer, but he needs to get this sorted out.
That's why I think that this is a perfect
soon.
time for MLS because it's not the most important juncture leading into 26, which is going to be the biggest tournament of his life. I mean, listen, the next World Cup in 2030 potentially could be too, but like I think that the timing is so perfect right now for him to just go get a bunch of minutes, be the guy, get a shit ton of confidence, get paid, and play. He needs to play, and he needs to have the ball. And I agree with Mikey. He's not good enough to play on the best teams in Europe that have the ball for the majority of most games.
All right, quickly, compliment corner. A player who needs some compliments. It wasn't necessarily a guy that we shit on. Well, actually, we did do a little shitting on him earlier. Josh Zirkzee. Guy got pulled after 30 minutes, got clapped off by the Manchester United fans. This is a guy who needs some compliments. So let's give him a couple. Mikey, what do you got?
Some of the most loved figures in history had spells where they were misunderstood and cast aside.
Are we talking like Gladiator?
Just in general.
Okay, I don't know if that's a compliment, but it's close enough. It's close enough. We'll go with it. It wasn't backhanded, so we'll allow it. By the way, Tyler Terrence is trying to kill this segment. That's
something that is absolute blasphemy. That is not what I'm trying to do.
He's back channeling. He's back channeling with the daggers. Very, very. Whatever. Fine. Let's give him a compliment.
No.
Let's give him a compliment. You're not trying to kill it? Okay, go for it.
If I'm really trying to kill the segment, then I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to boycott it. Go ahead. Move on to the next person. You want me to behave like I'm killing the segment? This is me killing the segment. Mitch, you go.
Kind of stringing off Mikey's, I don't have to package it as like a lofty truth like this, but I think Zirkzee will be remembered as a much better player than he actually was. Am I right? We're going to look back at some Zirkzee clips, and we're going to be like, remember Josh Zirkzee? Played at Bayern, played at United, silky player, had the hair, had all the intangibles. I think he's going to be remembered quite fondly, despite the way he's playing right now. So you have that to look forward to, Josh.
Who would you liken him to of sort of forgotten heroes of yesteryear?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer off the top of my head. I will come back to you with one before the end of the episode.
Nicholas Bentner?
True 9.
Yeah,
he was just aesthetic. He was vibes though,
Is Joshua Zirkzee a vibes guy?
How you're remembered is largely based on vibes.
I saw Nicholas Bentner score a hat trick against the U.S. men's national team. I organized 2 charter buses from Copenhagen to go watch the U.S. play Denmark in a friendly in Aarhus, which was about a 2.5-3 hour drive away. And we were the away section for the U.S. men's national team. And Lord Nicholas Bentner scored a hat trick in a game in which the U.S. led not once but twice, and the U.S. lost the game. And I was like, this guy fucking blows. Why is he scoring a hat trick on us?
The legend grows. Now, all right, I'm not saying you're trying to kill the segment. I'm just going to give the people a quote from the chat. It was what is it? I thought Compliment Corner was based off of who we bash. Are we premeditating killing this poor Dutchman? So maybe what I did was I read it wrong, and you thought we were going to kill him earlier in the segment, and then we were going to.
No,
is that what you're suggesting?
I thought Compliment Corner was based upon who we gave the most shit to throughout the course of the episode. Like
it was.
It's a vibe thing, and you're like, all right, who have you really poo-pooed on?
It always has been, and it probably always will be. I just figured for this one time, Josh Zirkzee just needed some love. Like
okay.
This guy, it was a one-time thing.
I wasn't trying to kill the segment. I was trying to understand the segment. It's
okay.
actually the complete opposite. I'm a big fan of the segment. I think it's great. I'm here for it.
We're all kumbaya. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you got a compliment for our guy Zirkzee?
Very tall. Very, very tall.
Great hair. I was going to say the same thing. Just that's a lot of hair.
He's an imposing figure. If I was a central defender, I'd be like, I'm in for a handful. And then about 30 minutes in, I'd realize this is not a handful.
There it was. It took a turn. Compliment Corner always takes a turn. Oh, goodness. All right, we'll move on. Around the world, and we are going to keep this quick. Just quickly. So Netflix secured the rights to the Women's World Cup in 2027 and 2031. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Netflix needs to build out their live production before they start taking massive undertakings like World Cups and signing on to those years in advance. We've seen the Jake Paul fight was kind of a disaster in terms of distribution, and the stream cut out and in for everybody. The Christmas Day NFL games, I heard, were a little underwhelming from a production standpoint.
I thought they were good.
Oh,
I thought that they were
okay.
I thought the graphics packages were good. I mean, they obviously hired great announcers. Like, I actually thought they did a really, really good job on Christmas.
Okay, I watched a lot of NBA on Christmas, and I went to the Celtics NBA Christmas Day game, so I did not get a chance to watch them. This is all hearsay, but I do think that they need to try some smaller dishes before they take on something like a World Cup.
They think that that's a smaller dish.
Unfortunately, they do. Yep. Yes. But I think they'll start to realize the audience for the Women's World Cup is going to start to mirror that of a much, much larger event. Yep. And they're going to have to contend with some serious production demands.
Pound for pound, you do not want to fuck with a women's soccer fan. You do not want to piss them off. Now, listen, this is still 3 years in the future, right? So, like, obviously, I think what I would assume is they think they're going to get some of these growing pains out now or the next year or two. But I do hope that they don't see it as a small undertaking, because the Women's World Cup, just like the regular World Cup or the Men's World Cup, I mean, it's a big undertaking, and there's a lot of people that care. So yeah, I hope they plan to give it the shine that it deserves. Lastly, NISA. This is the league that I actually sort of shit on a few months ago when the whole playoff thing went to shit at the end of their season, and it really felt like it was a clown show. It sounds like the league is on the verge of dying, essentially. I think the question here is, I wish we had Tommy on, by the way, because I think he would probably have some thoughts on this. Tyler, maybe you might. Is it going to be missed? I mean, like, listen, I've got a shout out to Chicago House. Like, they were in NISA before. They're not in it anymore. I know the Flower City Union. I know, like, there's some teams in there that we know about. Is this going to be missed? I mean, obviously, we want more teams. We want more leagues, more opportunities for fans, more opportunities for players.
What was its last status?
So it got I think that U.S. Soccer said it was no longer going to be sanctioned.
Yeah.
So that's what I heard.
Final status that it had? Third division.
Third division.
Yeah. Okay. So
USL League One.
Yes. Okay. So a couple of different thoughts. Number one, I do think that competition within the American soccer pyramid is always a good thing, given how young it is and how fragile some of these leagues are. I love USL just as a whole, and I think that they've done an excellent job of filling out the second and the third division, and arguably the fourth as well. But I don't think that, or I do think that competition is a good thing. I know a lot of guys who played for that Chicago House team. I know a lot of guys who are playing in NISA, guys that I've played with before, friends of mine in Chicago who I used to play pickup with and men's league with and stuff like that. So, like, I know that those guys really enjoyed the opportunity to have in Chicago an opportunity to play quote unquote professional soccer. Opportunities are the best thing for everybody, for people who want to continue to play the game. I mean, I had friends who used to play for the Harrisburg City Islanders back in the day. Big time shout out for those of you who are familiar. And then ended up, at 30 or 31 years old, being sort of like a veteran centerpiece of that Chicago house team with a lot of young players and stuff like that. So like, I thought it was cool to have that, particularly in those big cities, and then obviously in the smaller cities too. Will it be missed? I don't know. Probably not. I do think that there are enough opportunities now between League Two and League One in USL to go around. But if another league wants to pop up and give it a shot, I don't think that that's a bad thing either, because I still think that USL is trying to figure out those leagues. The championship is here to stay in like solid Division Two.
Yeah.
But yeah, not kind of a net neutral in my opinion.
Yeah, agree. More the merrier in terms of opportunities, but obviously the way that season ended this past season, obviously the red flags were flying left and right.
Yeah.
So
from the beginning, honestly, with all of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's tough. Like to do a lower level soccer in this country is hard work. We will now head to stoppage time. So I just realized I don't have my hat. I don't have a hat. So all the picks that we're going in for, or that I'm going to about to give you, they all come with an asterisk. But I feel good. We're coming off of a week where I went 3-2, bounced back from 2 weeks that were very bad, and we got 5 overtrain best bets. Here we go. Wednesday, Western Sydney Wanderers hosting MacArthur in the A-League. Thursday, Rangers and Celtic in Scotland. Friday, we're going to Portugal. Vitória de Guimarães they're hosting Sporting. Saturday, we're going to Cyprus. Nia Salamis is hosting Ethnikos Achnas. And Sunday, we're going to the French Super Cup. PSG hosting Monaco. All those games are going over. I feel very good about it. I'm not going to add a Monday Wolves Forest game, even though Mitch says I should, but I'm thinking about it. I'm probably going to bet it. I'm not adding it officially to the 5-a-side overtrain best bets. But there we go. Mitch, what do you got best bet wise this week? Ivan Toney's best bet.
That first goal in the 6th minute is going to bite you in the ass. So my book's not working right now, but I have 3 draws for you: a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. The Friday is Juve Milan. The Saturday is Bournemouth Everton. And the Sunday is PSG Monaco. Now, PSG Monaco is a Super Cup final, so the draw is going to be regulation time. That game will go to extra time. You put all those together, I'm sure it's super juicy. But just to recap, Juve Milan draw, Bournemouth Everton draw, PSG Monaco draw.
Fair point. And a little addendum of my overtrain best bet on what day was it? Would have been Friday. Vitória de Guimarães and Sporting. Vitória apparently just stole Sporting's manager. So add a little spice to that one. So there's going to be goals in it, goddammit. Mikey, what do you got best bet wise?
It's the biggest mortal lock of all time from me. There's a guy that's, first of all, we got to shout out Nico Paz. If you're in the Discord, this guy looked like a shot on goal, plus 270 for 2 of them. I sprinkled on it. He ended up with 5 in the first half.
He could have retired.
He had none, and then he had a shot on goal that got saved for a rebound. He took the penalty, saved it, and then in retaliation lashed 2 free kicks at the goalie in like a 7-minute span. Could have fed my family for a year. Didn't. But this year, this is a guy that everybody knows. Ademola Lookman on Thursday is playing in a standalone, all eyes on me cup semifinal against Inter, who have not been in great form. He was rested on the weekend a little bit against Lazio. He is plus 220 to score. He's plus 150 score or assist if you're feeling a little bit, chill about it. 2 goals is plus 1,500. And I will be playing Ademola Lookman every single way on Thursday and watching him dance around this Inter team. So I love that bet. I'm going to chase everything.
I'm all over it. I'm all over you. Sold.
I love it.
He's a big game. Want to talk about moments, guys? Remember the Europa League final? You do pretty well. Yeah, he is a terror, to use the word again. And this is gonna be a fun one. Dumfries is not gonna be. Dumfries doesn't give a shit about what the winger behind him does, and it's gonna be fun.
Fair enough. Good shout. Listen, individual bets. I know, I know where to go. Tyler, what do you got? Ivan Toney's best bet.
All right, so we're going to start with over in the Brentford and Arsenal game if you're listening to this in time. Then we're going to go Newcastle money line and a draw between Crystal Palace and Chelsea in a little London derby. I still think that Chelsea have some things to figure out. Crystal Palace coming off of a win against Southampton, and I like that game to finish in a draw. That gets you to a cozy plus 1,900, and I just sprinkled a few shekels on it myself. So, yeah.
Just a casual 1,900. Class. All right. Time to finish up strong with everybody's favorite segment, GOAWs. It sounds like Mitch already teased his, and he's got some things to get off his chest. So I think maybe we'll start with you.
Do I ever? I don't know if the GOA in particular goes to Cristiano Ronaldo or to the Globe Soccer Awards that have seen more attention than they deserve. If you don't know about the Globe Soccer Awards, you're not alone. They are an award started in 2010 who I think were specifically designed to celebrate Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes.
And
George Mendes.
This goes, listen, this is my goal, not yours.
Sorry.
Jorge Mendes, Cristiano Ronaldo's agent, has won Best Agent of the Year now 12 of the 13 eligible times.
Respect.
That maybe a
hell of
little
a
bit
run.
of favoritism. I don't know how the voting for these Globe Soccer Awards work, and I don't know how the media outreach to get Fabrizio to tweet about them 700 times. I don't know how much they're paying him to do that either. But it is essentially a platform for Ronaldo to go on and say, hey, I'm still relevant. Look at me. I'm over here. Look at me with this trophy that I've given myself. It is the equivalent of, if you've ever watched Arrested Development, when they get real excited about winning the Family of the Year award, and then they say, well, who's giving you the award? Well, technically we're giving it to ourselves, but it's the same exact thing. The Globe Soccer Awards is just a platform for Cristiano Ronaldo to say that he's still relevant. And he doesn't need to do that, dude. You're Cristiano Ronaldo. Overall, just an upsetting thing for soccer fans to legitimize. And I looked into it deeper and deeper, and I encourage you to as well, because it's an interesting rabbit hole to go down to see who's invested in these awards and the esteemed panelists that vote on them. So my GOA is the Globe Soccer Awards. Hope to win one day.
It just depends if we got enough money to make that happen. Absolute joke, by the way.
We just might be able to buy one.
Everybody, $3.99 a month,
please.
Okay, Tyler, GOA.
It's going to be Jesus Ferreira. Our boy Tommy Scoops, Tom Boger to Give Me Sport, reporting that he is going to be making a move to the Seattle Sounders. Sounds like he's going to take a significant pay cut. It sounds like he's not going to be a DP. I think that's still all being worked out right now. But this is a guy who went from potentially getting a $13 million move to Spartak Moscow, which was vetoed by Major League Soccer for a number of different reasons, to now getting sold to Seattle for some GAM, Leo Chu, an international roster spot. So life comes at you fast in Major League Soccer, and Jesus Ferreira just trying to get his career back on track, and he will do so in the Pacific Northwest under the tutelage of the great Brian Schmetzer. So shout out Jesus Ferreira. We're all pulling for you, baby.
Mm-hmm. There's better places or there's worse places you could end up than Seattle, who does seem to do things right. I also saw that he's about to be a new father. Thought that's actually where you're going with that. So congratulations on multiple fronts there for Jesus. Mikey, go.
Amari Hutchinson. Backflipping in front of the fans that you just left. He had a tough week, right? Arsenal was booing him. Lee Dixon couldn't quite figure out why. That was very interesting. He's your academy product. Why are you booing him? He went to Chelsea. Fucking grow up. And then leaving Chelsea for Ipswich, bagging one promptly, and not metaphorically showing them your nuts, but quite literally flipping right at the home fan base and the away fans and showing them exactly what they missed. Not to say he would have gotten in the Chelsea side by any means, but man, celebrate your goals. I hate when guys decide not to celebrate when they have never played a senior minute for a club. So do not worry about it, Omari. Keep doing you. I really love that moment.
Danny Welbeck would never.
No, he wouldn't.
He would never.
Danny Welbeck would
Great
actually
shout.
seppuku on the field if he scored next week.
Oh man, tough to follow that up. That's a high bar. I had on my GOAWs candidates the Globe Awards, which Mitch thankfully crossed off because that's just an absolute joke. Danny Olmo, who is in a tough spot right now with Bro Kelowna. He might not be able to. I think somebody threw out the registration that they somehow got across the line at the beginning of the season. So he might be essentially, on the sidelines unless they sell him in January or get his registration, pull another lever, which, obviously who knows on that one. But yeah, so Danny Olmo is in a tough spot. Plymouth Argyle, who has Wayne Rooney on their calendar as their January sort of cover model. Oops, we just fired him. So that's a little awkward.
He could have better go up with the videos of him in the pubs this week.
That's actually a good shout. I love that. Love that move for him. But listen, we were always going one place and one place only. So shout out Dave Polios, who called it early and asking whether love is dead. That's a very good question, a very relevant question at this moment because keeping up with the Icardashians as the world's leading expert, it's been a tough week. It's been a real tough week. The news is dire. Let's be honest. It's absolutely dire at this point. The divorce proceedings, allegedly, and everything I'm about to say right now is all alleged. There's no facts. This is all coming out through the media who are just hungry for clickbait. Allegedly, in the divorce proceedings between Queen Wanda and Mauro, it has come out that Queen Wanda might have slept with one of Icardi's teammates. Which, what? Who does that? Who does that? Does never happens. Maybe it might have happened one time with Queen Wanda and Icardi, but listen, that was a totally different situation when she was married to Maxi Lopez and Mauro was Maxi Lopez's teammate. That was totally different. It was a totally different situation. This is generational love, and I don't believe it. I do not believe it. I've seen the screenshots of Mauro Icardi, who apparently had security camera pictures of his former teammate, Keita Balde Diao, at his house in Paris with his wife, Queen Wanda. I still don't believe it. This day and age, everything can be photoshopped. It's just, I can't believe it. Team love. I have a statement to make here. Team love it's based on blind faith. And that's all we got. That's all we got right now. That's all we got. I love love. I'm on the side of love. The haters want generational love story to break up. I'm not. That's not me. That's not us. That's not team love. I see this continuing. They're proud. This is just going to make them stronger in the end. That's my final statement. Until next week.
So serious. Can you reach out to her and ask her if she wants to come tell her side of the story exclusively on Sam's Army?
I will go to you. I will fly with you to her. I'll bring the cameras and we will set up like a Jada Pinkett.
Oh my god!
Thing.
Through testimonial, she can have it however she's like, but there is no better platform for her to share her side of the story.
There's no better.
Sam's Army has become a place for airing grievances and airing dirty laundry, supposedly. St. Louis City, the Icardashians. It's not. Yeah.
We're getting that reputation here, and listen, Queen Wanda, if you're ready, we can make that happen. We'll have our people talk to your people and set this up. I would not put the chance of that at zero. She seems like she might be willing.
If you did it from the Sam's Army account with the check mark and she sees that it's got 70,000 followers, it might just happen.
We'll have to work on this. Yes, we'll just work on this. That's all we got. Shout out to the Icardashians and Team Love for all the content. It's been beautiful. Hopefully it's not over. Maybe Mauro will come to MLS and bring Queen Wanda with him. You never know. That's all we got this week. Mitchell, Mikey, Tyler, Tommy, aka Cockleberry Finn. We'll be back soon, actually in the new year. But honestly, quickly, everyone who's listening, thank you. You guys are the best. Really do appreciate you. It's we year after year we've been doing this for years and years. This is one of the most sort of the most fun things that I got going in my life, and I really do appreciate you guys following through, period. And Tyler, Mikey, Mitchell, and Tommy have helped us continue. So hopefully many more years to come. With that, we'll see you guys in 2025. Bigger, better, faster, stronger. See you guys there.
All right. How long?
That was long.